Greetings and welcome back to Stellaris, my United Nations of Earth playthrough. So, we are rapidly approaching the turn of the 25th century. About time for Buck Rogers to show up. We have kind of stagnated a little bit as an empire since we are limited on growth, and the only growth I can really do at this point is the ring world, which is under construction, and habitats, which are gated by influence. Apart from if I decided to become a conqueror, but I don't see that happening. We are now rivals with both the Ivzorak and the Commonwealth of Man. That does not bode well for them, because we have more allies. If there is a war, it will be very fast. With the amount of allies I have and the proximity of my allies, if we end up going to war with them, their empires will not last very long. We still have a peace treaty ongoing with the Zakplot Vestige, so we cannot redeclare war on them anytime soon. Let's see, it will be 9 more years before we are back at war with them. Now, the way that the fallen empires awaken, one of the ways is called the Upstart Awakening, and that happens if you antagonize them by conquering their worlds. There's a chance that they will do an Upstart Awakening. They can also do an Upstart Awakening just based off of your fleet size. If your fleet size gets up to a certain limit, I think it's 250 is your fleet strength. If you have a fleet strength of combined fleet strength of 250, they can do an Upstart Awakening. Now they have to have a fleet size of 60 to be able to do that, which they have. But the Upstart Awakening can only happen in the end game. So there's another 200 years because the end game does not start until 2600. Before they can do an Upstart Awakening. So I am not worried about the Fallen Empires awakening. However, if I annihilate the Zakplot Vestige, leaving only one Fallen Empire, it means that there is no chance of a war in heaven. And if there is no chance of a war in heaven, meaning there is one or less Fallen Empires remaining in the game, the endgame crisis does not have to wait for endgame to show up, because it is only 2 or more fallen empires that keep the endgame crises from invading early. They do kind of fear the fallen empires. So, in about the next 10 years, when we inevitably go to war with the fallen empires, when I eradicate the fallen empire, which is my plan next time we're at war, the Zakplot Vestige being no more, from that point on, there's a chance the endgame crisis can start early. So probably in about 15 to 20 years, we might start seeing the endgame crisis. That would allow the endgame crisis to happen far earlier. As for the state of our empire, we are constructing a few new habitats, still working on these rings. And while I was going around looking, I did manage to relocate Vlur. Vlur is back over here where he was originally. I did not get a message when he left my space. I don't know if I will get another message when he returns. But I also noticed this. This is another mid-game. We are now officially in the mid-game at 2400. Another mid-game event that can happen. The enigmatic cache is headed to one of my planets to do some surveying. This thing comes out of a nearby L-gate, goes and starts surveying systems, and when it fully completes surveying the entire world in a single player game, it will return to the player unless the player attacked it and start doing an uplift procedure. But in the meantime, what this is it's a way to get L-gate insights if you haven't already opened up the gate by mid-game. The enigmatic cache, once I get the pop-up, I'll have a chance to do an investigation of it that can lead to a L-gate insight, which I no longer need because I am the one who opened the L-gates. Now, the state of the Empire, Earth really has not changed in the last 25 years. There's not really much more I can do on Earth. There's no buildings I want to shift around. It is pretty much set in the state it's going to be. It is full industry at this point, and its orbital ring supports its industry fully. It has a little bit of unemployment that'll continually be pulled off the planet as jobs open up. Storm has a little bit more upgrades I can do to it, but again, I'm holding off on that until I get more off-world strategic resource refineries. It is going to remain a mining world until I get sufficient off-world mining that I can shift this fully to industry. In the interim, it is supporting just being a factory world and the mining that it produces on this world. When I do shift off, I will probably shift that over to a mall to boost my trade, a gigamall. Euxina will remain having generator districts on it because it has the Betharian power plant. It has pretty much reached full development. It has gotten rid of all of its temporary strategic resource refineries, and its orbital ring supports its technicians and its metallurgists. So it is a forge world is its actual designation. Nueva Cadiz is a full-on factory world. It has also reached the extent of its development. I mean, I could switch around some commerce megaplexes for something else, but it has unemployment and these provide the most jobs. It is pretty much set as well. And it has a transit hub because I never ended up getting a starbase in this sector. It just has the outpost. And it supports its factory generation. Other than that, it's going to keep a transit hub because I have reached the extent of my starbase capacity unless I wanted to go over it by building ones here. But this is going to be the experiment when I start building refineries or other buildings, habitats in this area, to see if its orbital ring's transit hub affects transit from the habitats nearby. Al-Madain has a little bit more development it can do as I get these strategic resources. It is a forge world with generator districts. Since it has at least 10, it will probably keep those generator districts. And of course, its orbital ring supports the generator districts and the alloy production from the metallurgist. Blizzard has reached pretty much its full extent of development. It has one alloy foundry to upgrade as I get more materials. And since I am currently have a surplus and am building more, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade this alloy megaforge. Now this is still listed as a mining world because it has dust caverns and crystal caverns and all of that to give me more strategic resources. It is the only world I have that has reached full ascension. But it is pretty much set, and its orbital ring supports the mining and the alloy processing. Now, if I get enough foundries, I may switch this over to be an actual forge world, so that it is just providing metallurgist jobs that are getting boosted. And also, I would like my mineral production up a little bit more before I lose that 87.5% bonus to miner output here, because this does provide about 1,000 minerals. Dropping a huge chunk of that, I would probably still get over 500 minerals out of here, maybe 600. Let's actually check the miners for a sec and see exactly how much they're getting in bonuses, though this isn't accurate. But yeah, we're getting at least 80% from other sources, the Empire, and from buildings. So it's not going to reduce it more than like a third, I don't think. So instead of getting about 35 minerals, we will probably end up getting, let's see, 87.5% of 4 would be less than 8 extra. That'd be about 7. So we drop about 7. It'd be about 28 minerals per miner. And since we have about 26 miners, let's see, losing 7 points per miner. Well, if it was 8 and 25, that would be 200 minerals it would lose. So we'll just estimate it's going to be about 200 minerals we will lose from this world. So it would still be above 700. It'd be about 750 minerals that we're producing on this world. So that's not too big of a loss, actually, switching over. And we are at the point now where the strategic resources we're getting, losing a chunk off of that. Let's see, it's only motes and crystals, both of which we have a pretty good surplus of. So yeah, let's actually see what would happen if we switched over. So 750 is how much minerals we're getting in surplus, and 5 and 6 in those. So if we switched over to a forge world, and there we go, we'd lose about 120 minerals and just about 1 strategic resource from one category and 2 from the other. That I think I can deal with, to go ahead and get that. Now the big problem we're going to have is the artisans we are losing. We're going to lose 120 consumer goods from that. But yeah, we can go ahead and designate it as a forge world. Now, one of the reasons we only lost about 120 is we did lose a huge chunk of our metallurgist upkeep by doing this. Avalon has a little bit more development it can do with one building. It has no temporary refineries left on it. Most of my core worlds do not anymore. It is a full-on urban world. No resource gathering goes on here. This is just pure research for the society bonus. And its orbital ring has both a transit hub and a gigamall on it to support the sheer amount of clerks it has at this facility. Ultinia has reached its full level of development. It has a few agricultural districts, just a minor breadbasket here. And it is also a research world for physics. Its orbital ring has the transit hub and a naval logistics office because its orbital ring was an anchorage. New Jamestown, another one of my research worlds, does engineering research, has a little bit more room for development by upgrading a few of its facilities. It doesn't really need the second holo theater at this point because of the sheer amount of clerks it's got, so I could swap this holo theater over to another research facility. Let's see. It has dust caverns, crystal caverns, has its galactic stock exchange. Yes, we could switch this over to be another research lab, not another chemical plant. Another research lab. Because we no longer need that amount of amenities here with all the clerks that we have built up. We are going to keep the generator districts here because it has at least 10. And it supports its generators and its clerks, or its technicians and its clerks, with its orbital ring. Nozomi is a full-on industrial world. Did not designate a specialization for it, but I believe we may switch it over to be a full-on factory world because we are lower in consumer good production than we are in alloys. Yeah, and we just did change one over to a forge world, so let's do that. Let's switch this over to a factory world, which means we can get rid of the alloy foundries. Probably for administrative offices. It still does have a temporary refinery on it, one synthetic crystal plant left. So between the alloy foundries and that synthetic crystal plant, we can get a couple more administrators here and probably end up changing this fortress over to an auto-curating vault. Or actually, we could do that with the alloy foundries right now and just go ahead and make an auto-curating vault. It does require a synthetic crystal, but I can spare one synthetic crystal, I believe. Its orbital ring supports alloy processing and civilian fabricators. Well, since we're getting rid of the alloy processing here, we could switch that over to support bureaucrats, because we are going to have at least 12 bureaucrats here. 18, I think, is how much we will probably end up having. So yeah, let's go ahead and switch that over. That's also going to consume a little bit of crystals a month. Shangri-La has a significant amount of more development it can do, but it's going to remain a breadbasket. It does have industrial districts. I could switch that over to factory, I believe is what it's going to end up being. It is supporting alloys and orbit. It is supporting alloys and consumer goods currently. I can get rid of the alloys and actually start supporting the agriculture. Our food production does fluctuate a little bit, but it has synthetic crystal plants are pretty much the majority of the temporary refineries still on my worlds. I do also have some exotic gas, but there are no more temporary chemical plants. Xianyang is a generator world for the most part that produces alloys. As its designation is actually a forge world, but it has a huge amount of generator districts. Its orbital ring is supporting the technicians and the metallurgist. And it still has a little bit room for development, and I have strongholds on here as the supporting buildings. I actually did put a gene clinic back on here. I kind of wanted my tomb worlds to still retain the gene clinics when I thought about it, and I didn't realize I had gotten rid of the one here, so I replaced it. It was having some amenity issues, and I figured the gene clinics would correct that. This is another research world for society. Other than that, it is a full-on industrial world, though I believe the designation is going to be Forge here. It is supporting both here. I may keep it full-on industrial. I am not sure yet, because I do have a temporary synthetic crystal plant to replace with the consumer good building, the civilian fabricators. Yeah, I may keep this one as actual industry, since it does provide a significant amount of industrial districts. Nueva Sonora has a little bit more room for development, also has some temporary synthetic crystal plants. I believe that's for the Galactic Stock Exchange, though. It is set up with the full administrator capacity it's going to end up having. Other than that, it does have a temporary civilian fabricator. I did get rid of all of its industry. That is the only thing providing any industry. I will eventually switch that over to something else. Perhaps another administrative complex. Its orbital ring is supporting its administrators. Other than that, it has a anchorage, orbital anchorage. Akatsuki has some mining districts. These, I believe, are temporary. As I get more mining off-world, I will be shifting these over to industrial districts, as this is a forge world with some military bases. Has no temporary refineries left on it, but still does have a little bit of room for upgrades. Its orbital ring should be supporting its mining and its alloy production. The one for mining I will probably replace with like a Giga Mall or something. I'm not sure yet. Winzhou is a administrative world that produces civilian consumer goods. It also does have 10 generator districts, so I will keep its generator energy production here as well. and it is supporting the energy production and the consumer goods with its orbital ring. It has a lot of room for development, but again, most of these require either crystals or exotic gases, so I'm waiting till I get more refineries to upgrade them. New Coventry is one of my first refining stations. It does the volatile motes. It has room for upgrades, but again, not pressing matter. I would rather have more refiners than upgrade this one just to add more districts to it for jobs. My synthetic crystal refinery is St. Pomeroy. It is in the exact same state. It can do 2 more upgrades, or 1 more upgrade. Yes. San Lucas is the first section of my research ring world. It has a temporary exotic gas refinery and a few nanite transmuters on it, which does remind me, yeah, I have sufficient nanites to get 3 more of these, or actually possibly 4 more of these nanite transmuters. So I could swap out this exotic gas refinery for another nanite transmuter. Now that will cut down on how many exotic gases I'm getting each month, but it will increase how many of the others I am getting. So yeah, let's go ahead and start that. Other than that, the majority of its research comes from the actual segments. I just have like a research institute supporting it. Other than that, I threw some administrative facilities on here. And those I think are going to end up being kind of temporary. I may end up replacing that with civilian or commercial zones just to provide more jobs for employment, because I will have other worlds that will have the administration. Al-Nukaira is the second section of the research part of the first ring world, Cybrex Alpha's ring world. It is also likewise developed, and let's go ahead and replace this exotic gas refinery with a nanite transmuter. It has 1 more left on it to replace. Now the one thing, replacing these makes 1 person unemployed because these refiners offered jobs, whereas the nanite transmuters do not. Mars is a unification center. It has a lot of administration that still has room for upgrades. Other than that, it has some agricultural districts. Its orbital ring supports the bureaucrats. And other than that, it is an orbital anchorage. Baffin is my resort world. Orbital rings really don't support much of anything other than the bureaucrats on it, because it also likewise was an orbital anchorage. There was no reason to add more districts to a world that does not make use of its districts. And it has a lot of administration capability. It does have much more room for upgrade though. One of the first things I need to upgrade is the luxury residence, because it is getting close to the cap of housing. St. Yegerov is the industrial section of the research ring world. It is doing both artisans and metallurgists. And it has some temporary synthetic crystal plants on it still. Does not yet have the Galactic Stock Exchange here. It has a little bit more room for development. Spring is the agricultural and trade section of the research ring world at Cybrex Alpha. It's pretty much full on administration outside of its support for agriculture. It gets most of its clerks and such from the few commercial segments it has. Has some temporary synthetic crystal plants. Terrania is an agricultural world with industrial districts. I currently am still doing just generic industrial districts here. I believe I may change this over to be a factory world and drop the alloy support here, We will wait on that though, because right now I've already got a few others transitioning. I want to see how they impact my alloy production before I just go changing them all. And its orbital ring is supporting both sides of its industry. Thinis is a exotic gas refinery that also had some gas extraction wells on it, has not received a single upgrade, has 2 levels of it can upgrade. But like I said, these refinery station upgrades are not a priority. Once they get their full allotment of building slots, all that does is give me more clerks or more entertainers. I don't really want to throw industry on a refinery world because it won't have much room for industry. At most, I could add 4 more districts, so that would be, 8 more jobs either split between artisan and metallurgist, or I would have to drop the refinery station type to specialize. So, not really worth wasting the time. San Fernando was my first mining station. It is fully upgraded. It does have some room to upgrade the commercial zones as I get more exotic crystals. New Troy is another mining station in the exact same condition, fully upgraded, but can still upgrade its commercial zones. Puerto Gonzales is another exotic gas refinery that had gas extraction as well. No upgrades on it whatsoever yet. Square is the remaining machine world that I control from the war with the Prime Awareness. Nobody has a station in this system yet, and I will eventually lose it, but for now it is providing me with minerals. About 400 minerals from its mining production, but I have not really been developing it or its orbital ring because I know I am going to end up losing this world when someone else builds a starbase in this system. Olympia is a chemical refinery. No upgrades on it whatsoever, but it has its full allotment of chemical plants. Algissa is a mining station. It can still upgrade its hollow theaters a little bit as well as the commercial zones, but the actual habitat itself is at full upgrade level. Anchor is another mining station. This one is in the Sol sector. It is in the exact same condition, full upgrade of the mining bay capability, but the commercial zones and the hollow theaters can still upgrade. Wangtong is a reactor or generator station with its full allotment of reactor districts. It can still upgrade its energy grid, as well as the hollow theaters and the commercial zones. Hope is another exotic gas refinery that is not have any upgrades beyond getting its full allotment of buildings. La Isabella, another chemical refinery in the exact same condition as Hope, no upgrades but full allotment of buildings. New Jerusalem, another mining station, has its full allotment of astro mining bays but can upgrade its mineral purification plants as well as its hollow theaters and commercial zones. Concord, exact same state as a mining station. Mjolnir, also in the same state as a mining station. Delgovisia is reached its full upgrade. It is getting its last 2 mining bays, and it still is in the midst of building its final buildings. It's going to have the Otto Chthon Monument, followed by a commercial zone and a luxury residence. And then it can still upgrade most of these as it's just now developing. Port Karakasov is a factory station. It has just about completed its final upgrade, or its first upgrade. Yes, just about completed its first upgrade. It will have another upgrade it can do after this, so it will have more industrial zones supporting why does it say metallurgists turn minerals into alloys when it's providing artisan jobs? That's weird on the tooltip. But it has a Ministry of Production and Civilian Industries, and it has room for one more building slot, which I have not decided what I'm going to put here just yet. San Cristobal is another refinery station that is just now getting underway. Chemical plants are what it's supporting. This is to support the sections on my new ring world, because they are going to require a lot of volatile motes. Speaking of which, Tuscany is the first section of that is a forge world, provides a lot of metallurgists. Each of these sections require 2 volatile motes, which is one of the reasons I prioritized the chemical plants for my refineries so that I could support this ring world's construction. Now, in addition to the industrial segments requiring volatile motes, the agriculture also does. The trade requires crystals. So I believe the last 2 sections, one will be full-on agriculture and the other will be a commercial, full-on commercial. But it is just getting built up. It is finally, I don't know, building its reassembled ship shelter into an actual planetary administration. The second section, New Roanoke, is in the exact same level of development. It is just a factory world instead of a forge world, so I have my first 2 sections, one concentrated on alloys, the other on consumer goods. And that is all of my worlds. Most of my stations are in the process of building up their defenses. All of my trade hubs and shipyards and all but one of my bastions are at full defense capability. We are just about done with the 3rd ring section. We'll have it within about 4 months. Just a little after I do my April maintenance, this ring section should be up and running. The final ring section is still a few years away, about 3, a little over 3. And the mega art installation, we're still waiting on 67 more minor artifacts before we can do its final level of upgrades. And since we are currently in the process of building a few more habitats, both in Terminal Egress and Yilon. Yilon one's just about done. My next bit of influence is going to be saved for something diplomatic related, or diplomacy related. If I can't find anything diplomacy related, I will just keep it banked and probably begin work on the quantum catapult next, because I do still have a slot for a megastructure that could be in the process of being built right now. Actually, I will have 2 slots as soon as this ring section completes. A tubular alien entity has entered orbit of Puerto Gonzales with no warning or explanation. It appears to be moving without engines or thrusters, gliding in complete silence through the void of space, cylinders rotating ominously. Well, technically all things glide silently through the void of space, but though it has yet to display any signs of aggression, it refuses to acknowledge our hails. Our military advisors warn that it may pose a considerable threat to the inhabitants below and implore us to engage neutralization protocols. Our scientists, however, plead that we instead learn from this remarkable piece of technology. So we can do our safety of our people, which gives us more influence, or study it, which does an enigmatic guest, which is what we're going to do because we are scientists.
Situation log has been updated.
Senate is now in session for the administrative insight. It is currently going to pass. I believe I was supporting it, yes. So we will just let that go through. I won't need diplomacy for this, most likely, or influence to affect this. I may bank my influence to propose a resolution, because I could use the veto power. It only takes 150, and we do have some support for it. Now that gave us a new scientific project. We research it without sending a ship, so it just will put our current engineering research on hold. That's fine. It'll be done by February 2nd.
The special project has concluded.
Despite extensive research, the enigmatic cache and its origins are still shrouded in mystery. Though it is definitely not organic in nature, it is not entirely machine either. It appears to be preoccupied mainly with the gathering, storing, and encoding of data. Its surface is covered in hundreds of thousands of minuscule scratches and dents in which we have discovered traces of a compound that is alien to our galaxy. So, putting our research on hold for a month ended up giving us a bunch of banked research. But so far it's not hostile, so there is no reason for us to attack it. We have received a report from a vassal empire of ours, the Hazar Commonwealth. The report outlines how the people have been whipped into a frenzy by one of their veteran soldiers, and they are now looking for an outlet for their anger. They are demanding war from their leaders. In a desperate move to appease the rioters, the government in the Hazar Commonwealth has embraced the movement and made several promises that our informant doubt they can fulfill. So they want us to be more warlike, do they? Huh. Interesting. Well, they haven't changed their ethics. But they want to go to war. I much prefer being the defender over the aggressor, but we will see how this goes. We will get more warlike when the Zakplot vestige is available as a target in 9 years. Though it rightfully belongs to us, the Commonwealth of Man has audaciously laid claim to the Limsa system. Really? Way the hell over here? Yeah, we're going to be going to war pretty soon, it appears. There is a new resolution proposed in the Senate. Repeal regulated growth. Wasn't the Tezekian Hive the one who proposed it in the first place? No, they proposed administrative insight. It was the Urzo, I think, that proposed this. Though it is natural for empires to demand their borders be respected, the directives enforced by the galactic community have become overbearing and stifling. To ensure a smooth functioning bureaucracy, it is time to cut back on some of these mandates. Now, regulated growth, what did it do? Bonus to monthly loyalty, penalty to empire size from systems. And they want to pull it back. Well, let's see. If we were to let this go, all it does is more monthly loyalty. I don't care. I get enough bonus to monthly loyalty by treating my vassals well. So you know what? I'll support this. I'm fine with repealing it because that will cut down on my empire size penalty, which is perfectly fine with me. No luck on more minor artifacts this cycle. We have completed Ring Section C. So I already have the colony ship in orbit. The Crystal Palace 3. Salam. And it'll take about 8 or 9 months before that one is now up and running. It will be my agricultural district. Or agricultural segment.
Colony establishment has begun.
So it should be February of next year when it is up and running, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. Oh, no. It takes 13 months for the Ringworld sections. It's 8 months for the habitats. So yes, it will be July of next year when it is complete. Elon 4 is complete and ready for colonization. And I should have, yes, the colony ship already in orbit. of this habitat. Al-Karak. And the Mississippi currently has no further orders. There is only one planet in this section that still does not have a habitat, I believe, and that is Yelon Prime, which will be a research habitat. So we'll go ahead and head over there. Now this one should only take about 8 months. It should be up and running probably by March, I believe it's going to be.
Colony establishment has begun.
Oh, February. No, it only takes 7 months. Oh, Governor Huang here has got corrupt. I have to replace another governor. Oh, and it was my retired fleet officer. Oh, you... What is with all this? Why am I getting crime lords in an empire that has no crime? That makes no sense to me. Because if I look at most of my worlds, it says no crime. No crime whatsoever. No crime is being established from anywhere. Yeah, this one has 0 from crime. It's getting 2 from the pops. I wonder which 2. But yeah, no crime. Now if we go to someplace in Yelon, there's one. Still says no crime. There's a complete absence of crime in my empire. It does not make sense for me for my governors to suddenly have ties to organized crime, but so be it. So I'm afraid you're done for. I do not want criminals in my empire. So we'll go to leaders and get rid of Governor Huang. Sorry. And we will need to recruit a new one. Oh! A cyborg that is a retired fleet officer. An adaptable one. And a resilient cyborg. So we will go with Governor Grodsun of the Hazar. Or half Julian, half Hazar. So that we can at least keep our retired fleet officer in the sector that has our mega shipyard. No luck on minor artifacts this cycle either. Now one thing always puzzled me is why am I limited to one megastructure of a type? Obviously I can support multiple megastructures with my empire. I've got a sentry array, a science nexus, a matter decompressor, all of this stuff, one of each of them. What stops me from having 2 matter decompressors if I have access to 2 black holes? Why can't I have a matter decompressor at every black hole? It's not the maintenance of the matter decompressor. It's only 100 energy upkeep. I provide a lot more than that. I could support multiple matter decompressors. It's just an arbitrary limit without explanation as to why my empire can't support a second matter decompressor. I have a few trade deals out to get rid of some surplus minerals, selling them for about 2 energy credits apiece. There were only a few empires I could find that were interested in them. The Visari and the other is the Alvathari. Those are the only 2 interested in minerals, so I was able to offload, because I got a lot of minerals from the slot machines. A lot of 10,000 minerals. I would much prefer even a few minor artifacts over that. So the Urzo have completed their sentry array. Everyone will have a sentry array soon. We have a favor with the League of Brian States. 81 pulls of the lever this cycle at the Stock Exchange, at the Caravanserai Caravan Coalition, and no minor artifacts. I did get a huge chunk of minerals. I was up to almost 150,000.
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
We have completed High Density Munitions 10 for more kinetic weapon damage. and are now working on loader efficiency 7 for more kinetic weapon attack speed. Our kinetic weapons are pretty far behind our actual energy weapons in output. I gave the citizen state of Azuk 27,000 minerals for 44,000 energy credits. Means I'll be able to get a few more lever pulls. Oh, 44,000 is going to put me pretty close. And I'm a bit away from a cycle. Oh, no, it had already given me the 44,000. Never mind. Means I'll probably get another 80 or so pulls next cycle. The citizen state of Azuk is embroiled in civil war, pitting the organic Azuk government against the intelligence that metastasized in their systems, known as the Dar Manifold. So this is a mid-game crisis, the machine uprising. And I should not have to worry about this. Neither should any of the empires that have done the synthetic ascension. Citizen state of Azuk is here. The Dar Manifold has declared war on them. Machine intelligence, we don't know their ethics or anything yet. Where are you guys based? Oh my, you've got a huge fleet. Huge is relative, of course. That's like a fraction of any of my fleets. So yeah, you took over this as a machine capital. Alright, I'm actually going to pull a envoy from the galactic community to make contact with this machine intelligence. Let's send Buffkin. Oh, wait. Let's have a look at who all is in the galactic community first. I think we will send Mercedes instead. Mercedes Rodriguez. Establish an embassy with them. We cannot form commercial pacts because they are Gestalt. Same with the migration. We could form a research agreement with them. I'm not sure what we will get out of it, but yeah, we'll be friendly at first and see what they're like. That may change our opinion once we get more intel on them, but this is the quickest way to establish intel. So yeah, they control a few systems, but we have entered into one of the mid-game crises. Let's see what they call this war. The Dar Machine Uprising. Intelligent Research Link. The machine intelligence was originally created by organic scientists as a networked and intelligent tool to assist them in their research. They have just joined the galactic community. Let's see where they rank. Probably near the bottom. Yeah, they are currently in breach of the Space Amoeba Protection Act and the Military Readiness Act. There's a lot of people in breach of the Space Amoeba Protection Act. Is that because they are currently killing or have killed Space Amoeba? I don't believe I ever killed a Space Amoeba. So I can't verify for sure what puts them in breach of that. There has to be a time frame. They have to have been, if they've killed them within a certain period. They agreed to the research agreement. I still don't have much intelligence on them.
Construction completed.
So we have now officially in the 25th century. We've established a capital connection with them. And I have finished switching over the building here in Nozomi Station from alloy production to administrative. And I will eventually switch over some of these other buildings to be administrative offices. I could probably go ahead and switch over that fortress. That would give me some volatile motes per month back. I will lose a couple of jobs, but I will gain some specialist jobs to replace the ones that got kicked out. And then when I get a synthetic crystal plant off-world, I can have my third one. I've already got the auto-curating vault. 98 pulls of the lever netted me 6 minor artifacts this cycle.
Research concluded.
Alright, we do have a embassy with them. Still don't have enough information to know their civics or their origin. It says my intel is dropping, but my overall intel should be going all the way up to 80. So it'll take a few months before we know more about them. Possibly a year, even. We've completed Administrative Efficiency 7 for monthly Unity, are now working on Administrative Efficiency 8 for even more monthly Unity. Alright, looks like the council isn't really going to change. Wait, no. The Urzo is about to be unseated for the Fire Tribes. They are in breach of the Space Amoeba Protection Act, right? Yep.
A new world has been colonized.
Al-Karak, my reactor station, is now online in Yilon. First thing we're going to need is the holotheaters. Oh, and I do need to assign a designation to that. It has it as a generator station already, but we are going to make that official. And it's another 4 months before Salam is up and running. I don't have much faith that the Dar Manifold is going to last very long. I mean, they only have a 15k fleet. The citizen state of Azuk, oh, they actually have some fleets over here. Yeah, the citizen state of Azuk has 25k in fleets right there. And they are they have another 50k, over 50k in fleets there. And they are underneath the Commonwealth of Man. They are a vassal. So the Molinar Corsairs still have a raiding fleet? What the hell? Okay. But they still are underneath the Commonwealth of Man, so unless the Commonwealth of Man also faces one, the Dar Manifold really doesn't have the military presence to do much here. They're basically overblown pirates at this point and are just going to annoy them. It's the loss of the planets that will be hurting them more than anything else. And I do have enough influence to go ahead and propose giving us veto power. And I forgot to read that and see exactly what it says. The Galactic Council should be granted the power to remove frivolous proposals from the resolution queue. And I could make that emergency measure as soon as this one is completed, but that's still another 3 years away.
Construction completed.
Trimus Starbase has switched over its alloy production support to food production. And now I believe that was the only other orbital ring I was modifying anything on. 48 pulls of the lever netted me another minor artifact. Or was it 2? Let me check. No, it's just 1. We now need 60. which will probably take about another 30 years before we get all of it. Our intel is falling on the Ivzorak. Not sure why. I sold the Dar Manifold, 11,000 minerals for 20,000 energy credits.
A new world has been colonized.
Salam is now up and running. This is going to be a agricultural segment. I believe the first thing we're going to do here is the actual holo theaters, as usual. Oh, I did not designate the world. Another 60 pulls of the lever netted us 6 more minor artifacts, so we are almost halfway to our goal. Yes, the Fire Tribes of Kale ousted the Urzo as a member of the Galactic Council. Oh, we have a new proposal. Repeal minor economic sanctions. The Pirac want that. I'm sorry, I don't support that. The economic sanctions we have levied on empires in breach of galactic law are too harsh. The burden is too great over matters that should be handled diplomatically. It's minor sanctions. Where are you, Mr. Pirac? You aren't even in breach. Why do you care? Do you want to kill space amoebas? Is that it? Because the breach for being minor economic sanctions, all that really is a market-free and diplomatic weight from economy. I don't consider that extreme. 10% more market fee, 20% reduction in your diplomatic weight from economy. And I have the strongest economy. Just don't be in breach. It's that simple. Build up your military. Don't kill space amoebas.
Research concluded.
We have applied superconductivity 12 for energy credits from jobs and are now working on shield harmonics 11 for shield hit points. Putting that field manipulator specialist in there, I've basically just been alternating between the field manipulation techs since he's been in there, which is good. We have a favor with the Ivzorak. Despite being rivals, we are still building up favors and relations with them as best we can. Only got 39 pulls this time, but no minor artifacts. I do have multiple trades out. Food was worthless, so I ended up selling most of that just for the small amount I get here, which is not very much, but it does give me some energy credits. Now, I did end up giving, I think it was a gift to the Ivzorak because they were unwilling to trade anything in return, or no, it was the Granshu. They were unwilling to trade anything in return for minerals, but they did want the minerals, and I just figured, what the heck, I'd wanted them in the Federation for the longest time anyway. I'd like to get relations good with them again. Obha gave me 6,000 energy credits for 2,000 food. And 2,000 energy credits for 2,000 minerals, which is still more than I would have gotten selling them. Yeah, I'd only have gotten about 2,000 energy credits for 10,000 minerals just selling them. This way I got 1 for 1 at least. Yeah, I gifted the Granshu with about 23,000 minerals. And as you see, my alloys are kind of low because I was upgrading all the anchorages at once instead of limiting it, because I had the alloys to spare and nothing else to use them on. When I go, once they're done upgrading, the only thing I will have left to upgrade is the defenses on the orbital rings, and I will probably do them, 1 or 2 rings at a time, so that I allow my alloys to build back up. Granshu declared us a rival just after we sent them a gift. Go figure. Well, that's more influence for me, you fools. The Awoken gave us energy credits, alloys, and volatile motes for consumer goods. They were pretty much capped on their energy credits. I didn't want to take them all. They only had about 80,000. And I did need some alloys and some volatile motes because my stocks on those two are getting low. I'll be able to do quite a few pulls of the lever this next cycle. 2,000 energy credits for 2,000 minerals with the citizen state of Azuk. I can go ahead and start on another habitat ring. Start on another habitat. Let's see. Let's go to our constructor ships. All right, we have the one in Yilon. It will be research. The one in Caravan would be another. No, I don't believe it. Let's see. We have exotic gases. We have a mining station. We have volatile motes. This one would end up being rare crystals. So let's go ahead and get started on this one. And I really wish these would disappear from the queue when I have all that I can build. I almost have enough to get started on, I think, the next to last hyper relay for now. I still need a hyper relay in Kazabius after this one. Other than that, my hyper relay network will be back up and running. Why did that just go away? I was clicking on it. Thank you very much. So we'll get the last hyper relay going over. We'll get headed to a location for our last hyper relay after we complete that one. And now I have to reselect, yeah, that guy, and send him over here. We have a favor with the League of Phemisto. I wonder how their war is going. Commonwealth of Man sent a fleet over here. It's not going to be going well for them. Doesn't look like they have occupied any systems. Yeah, I believe they are going to get beat down pretty quickly. Yep, Citizen State of Azuk is getting ready to bombard this system that they lost. And this one. Yeah, it looks like they're under control of most of these areas. We still don't know much about them other than the fact that they are getting their butt handed to them. 107 pulls of the lever got me 8 more minor artifacts, so now we only need 46. We have finally passed the halfway point. We are getting there. Also managed to pick up a handful of minerals, but I'm going to wait to trade them to give people an opportunity to use some up. But yeah, I don't think the Rebel Empire is going to last much longer. It looks like almost all of their systems are controlled. So yeah, I do believe I am going to go ahead and pull out another envoy from the Galactic Assembly to build a spy network here in the Garanshu. And we will put Bufkin over here.
Research concluded.
We have completed Loader Efficiency 7 for kinetic weapon attack speed, are now working on Defense Platform Damage through Synchronized Firing Patterns 5, and we can swap out Vash for Pash. The Nal Decor habitat is complete and ready for colonization. I believe I have a ship in orbit there. There it is. Thea. Now this will be another moat crafting facility with chemical plants. I believe our next ones should be for exotic gases, and I believe I'm going to shift over here to do them, the 2 gas giants. Speaking of habitats, I wonder if the colony ship is completed for that other habitat I have under construction. No. It's still being built at the mega shipyard. Look at your credit silos, human. Full to bursting. Please let us lighten them. Let us assist. We have ore, rich, luminous ore, torn right from the stone, sparkling minerals for the United Nations of Earth. But we hunger. We thirst. Grant us 4,000 food, and we shall supply your builders, your makers, with 2,000 minerals. Okay, I'll accept that. Food is worthless compared to minerals for the most part. I can occasionally still trade minerals. A pleasure, a joy to deal with the United Nations of Earth. We will visit again.
Colony establishment has begun.
It should be about 7 months, probably around October when that one is completed. Apparently I forgot to record the last 3 months. The citizen state of Azuk declared secret fealty to us. So we are now, if we have a war with the Commonwealth of Man, Commonwealth of Man's vassal will switch sides and fight for us as our vassal. If we have a war with the Ivzorak, the Tilinesti will switch to fight with us as their vassal. So we should probably start working on the Darbalins in case the Granshu go to war with us. We still have almost double the diplomatic weight of the next highest, the League of Brian States, with 2 envoys removed. So I've got no real rush to put the envoys back in there. If the Dar manifold collapses, I will take the envoy we have in there and put it in the... I think I already have one in the Darbalins. Let me double check. No, I am not currently improving relations. Actually, they're already pledging secret fealty to us. But yeah, I will probably put it in the Darbalins when the Dar manifold collapses. And it looks like the machine uprising is going to be stomped down pretty quickly. The only empire that seems to have suffered from it was the citizen state of Hazuk. And let's see if we can get a little bit more energy credits from the Dar manifold before they completely collapse. That's the citizen state of Hazuk. They don't control any systems anymore, so they are on the verge of losing what little they do have. But we can still attempt to see if they are interested in minerals and have any energy credits left to spare. Alright, they're not that interested in that many. Let's go with 18 and see how many energy credits we can siphon from them. They only have 12,000. Well, let's get about 6,000 energy credits from them. Let's actually just close this out, reopen it to get to the nice round number of 6,000 a little easier. Actually, we'll go for 8. And do you have anything else you are willing to offload? We can get about 3,000 alloys from them. So let's give that a shot. See if they can accept it before they're destroyed. Now we had 117 pulls with no minor artifacts. Back in April, I had 19 pulls with no minor artifacts. Dar Manifold accepted the deal, so we got some energy credits and alloys out of that. Them willing to trade away their alloys while they're at war is kind of disturbing. I guess they know they've lost, but why would they want the minerals? There's not much they can do with them. Well, they can build armies to defend their planets, but it takes time. And I had forgotten about the spare holding slot I had with the League of Phemisto, but I have since begun building one. I'm building an aid agency on their capital. It'll take a while before it's completed. But they do desperately need it because they have some severe amenity issues. If we look at their planets, yeah, even with my aid agency, they have severe negative amenities on their planets. Yeah, this one will take another 6 months to be built, and it'll only bring them up by 10. But yeah, they are struggling badly in their attempts to keep up. They do have a bunch of research facilities, so as they gain technology, they're in an age of darkness. That's part of their problem. They have ceased robot assembly and ceased growth because they have too many unemployed people. That is partly the problem with their amenities, is they don't have enough jobs to support. They don't have any further districts they can build. And I think they have too many exotic gas refineries honestly, and should switch some of these over to things that offer more jobs. Because yeah, they are doing poorly. They only have 2 planets. They may be a candidate for assimilation because I could do more with that planet than they can. They are working on a science nexus, but that isn't going to give them jobs. 48 pulls and no minor artifacts. One other thing that may have happened when I wasn't recording was the Uberic regime completed its synthetic ascendancy and became the Anoic. It did not apparently change their current president's species, the High Uberic, but it changed all of their other populations, so they have done the synthetic ascension as well.
Research concluded.
We have completed administrative efficiency for monthly unity, administrative efficiency 8, and are now working on aggressive conditioning 7 for more army damage. That enigmatic cache is still surveying my planet. So we traded 25,000 consumer goods for 60,000 energy and almost 7,000 alloys to the Tezekian Hive. Traded another 4,000 minerals for 6,000 energy credits to the Dar Manifold. $4,000 minerals for 6,000 energy to the United Uberic Pact. And 10,000 minerals for 20,000, or 11,000 minerals for 20,000 energy credits to the citizen state of Hazuk. So we've got quite a stockpile of energy credits. On our next cycle.
A
we should be
new
able
world has been colonized.
to get a significant number of pulls of the lever. So here in the terminal egress, this is going to be another moat facility, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. First thing we're going to need are the leisure districts. So we will designate this as a leisure station, not a hydroponic station. I don't know why you would want me to do a hydroponic station. To get our leisure district up and running, and then a habitation district before we go to building our refineries. Let's have a look at this war that's going on. Yep, they've lost Despot. These systems are only partially occupied, but they will end up eventually losing them. Since last I checked, they did not have any defenders on the planet, and these guys are bringing in fleets with huge amounts of ships in them, but oddly enough, despite all of the ships they have here, their army strength isn't even a K. Yeah, they're not currently invading that. These habitats will collapse pretty quickly, but yeah, they're not showing that they have any armies. Yeah, they don't even have jobs that give armies right now. They were currently purging their undesirables. Oh, they have taken it over. I see. Yes, this one has been conquered, and they are purging the machine and the robots. So the Commonwealth of Man came to their assistance and is basically getting rid of all of the enemies in here. This looks like it's fully controlled, not partially controlled, honestly. Oh, it is a Commonwealth of Man system. This one is only partially occupied. But the Dar manifold is about to collapse. They brought enough to bear on them. It was almost just like a pirate outbreak. They did not give them enough fleet strength. They didn't get enough of the fleets. And they, because of alliances with the Commonwealth of Man over here, hell, even without the alliances, I think the fleet power of the citizen state of Azuk was about 4 times what the fleet power of the Dar manifold was. I'm about ready for another habitat. Probably be another 2 months. The Hazar Commonwealth got their science nexus. 179 pulls granted me another 6 minor artifacts. We now just need 40. So we should still have it by about 2430 at the latest, at the rate we are going. Ring World Engineers. That's for completing a ring world. Yep. Our engineers and planetary ecologists today finished the last of the habitat sections on the ring world we built in the Tiestador system. The construction of this great megastructure must be considered a milestone in the history of the United Nations of Earth. We have accomplished what only a handful of civilizations in the history of our galaxy has managed before. Let this ring world stand forever as a testament to how much the human species has achieved since we first ventured beyond the safety of our homeworld's atmosphere. And I do have the colony ship right there in orbit of it, the Bountiful 2. Al-Mataba. That's going to take about 13 months, so it'll be March of next year probably before it is completed, March or April. But now we are no longer working on any megastructures. So I could go to edicts and drop Architectural Renaissance. There's no real need to keep this running. Sure, it gives me a boost to planetary build speed. I don't really need that at this point. It gets stuff built a little faster, but I think I would rather have the almost 2,000 back because it takes so much to upgrade to the next tier. So we're going to go ahead and drop that. We can always reactivate it if we need to. But it's going to be almost 300,000 influence to reach the final ascension tier for Earth. And we've only got about 20 influence right now. Or I mean 20,000 unity right now. That was unity, not influence. And I could be working on another habitat at this point. They won't build quite as fast now that I have dropped that, but so be it. I can do with the delay. I believe we will be working on this one in the terminal egress because we are low on our exotic gases. I need another exotic gas refinery up and running. And after we complete that one, we will move to this other one. And let us go ahead and start on another colony ship. And of course we'll just use synthetics because that's one of the easiest ones to grab. They will have 100% habitability on a habitat.
Colony establishment has begun.
Okay, so it should be April of next year when it is completed. It appears that Vlur has moved around again. Let me see if he is in my space. I do not see him. With the prevalence of gateways, it's going to be kind of hard to locate him. I have missed locating him a few times. I'm not sure where he would have wandered over to, because he could go pretty much anywhere, popping through a gateway. Oh, he popped back down here. He was just in this system, or in this vicinity of this system last time, so it looks like he's just hopping back and forth. I got about 30 pulls and nothing this time. Intel's dropping on the Ivzorak again. It keeps jumping up and then dropping. What is boosting it up? I sent 10,000 minerals to the citizen state of Azuk for 20,000 energy credits. I'm pretty sure within the next few months, the DAR mandate is gone. They only have one system left. Now let's go ahead and go to the Garanshu and start establishing sleeper cells. And while we're at it, let's check our other two spies, the one in the Commonwealth of Man. We can renew the sleeper cells there. And the one in the Ivzorak. We can also renew our sleeper cells there. So both of them have expired. But I don't want to start on all of them at once, so they don't all expire around the same time.
Research concluded.
We completed Shield Harmonics 11 for more shield hit points, and are now working on energy weapon attack speed through Flash Coolant 12. So right after I said something about us just swapping between the field manipulation ones, we get a different one. Now, do I have somebody else who would be better for that? I believe we do. We have the Mentat. As of right now, this is actually going to fail. It will do ethics attraction and a penalty to loyalty. But it's actually going to fail. Well, like I said, I'm not that worried about it. The ethics attraction would be nice, but not a huge deal. 81 pulls and nothing. Citizen State of Azuk accepted a deal for 3,000 minerals for 5,000 energy credits.
Research concluded.
They were the only ones I could find interested in minerals at this last point, so next time I'm probably going to end up having to vendor quite a bit, or just sell them on the market. Synchronized Firing Patterns 5 is completed with more defense platform damage. Now working on Extraction Patterns 4 for minerals from jobs. Quite behind on that. Our minerals have actually dropped significantly. That's going to be due to Overlord subsidies more than anything else, I think. Well, that, and I am building more refineries, but I mean, a refinery's only like 10 every refinery I build. There was a huge drop when I got the Ringworlds started completing their structures, because each one of them takes a chunk. Till and SD decided to end their association status. They actually lasted a lot longer than I was expecting. But yeah, it is because of the League of Phemisto. But as I was saying about this, yeah, this, these sections... There we go. These sections, yeah, they only take about 60 minerals per segment. So yeah, that right there, those 5 would be about 300 minerals, and these 5 would be another 300 minerals. But I was well above 1K when I had those under construction. And it shouldn't have been that significant, so it has to have been that Overlord subsidies have increased by a significant amount. Okay, now it's going to pass. Star Nation, formerly known as the Dar Manifold, has been destroyed by its enemies. Yes, as I said, within the next few months, they would go away. That frees up an envoy, and we will put them in the Darblin. Mercedes Rodriguez. And that seems to be the extent of the machine uprising. Alright, so the Racket are back. They're offering 2,000 minerals for 4,000 food. Yep, I'll accept that. Garanshu built a gateway. It's the first gateway I've seen in a while. They all must have slowed down. 29 pulls of the lever and nothing. I decided to go ahead, since my minerals are getting kind of low for now, to hold off on selling any that I can't trade. Ubaric regime completed their science nexus. Vlur has moved again. Tezekian Hive built a gateway. I have no idea where Vlur disappeared to, but it doesn't appear to be in my space. Garanshu has another gateway. Oh, there was something else I had noticed back when I was editing the files, the videos, and I had just remembered it now. There was a, one of my fleets does not currently have an admiral. That was what it was. I think it was second fleet, maybe? Nope, not second. Where's third fleet? Fourth fleet. Yeah, fourth fleet is currently without an admiral. So let's go ahead and recruit an admiral real quick before we deal with this. Mikvu Kura. He has Trickster, more disengagement chance, less likelihood of my ships being destroyed, and fire rate. So we lost contact with some of our operatives in the Garanshu. We can either find them, which drops our infiltration level, or disavow them, which means we'd have to start all over. We're going to find them. 41 more pulls netted me 4 more minor artifacts. Only 36 to go. United Uberic Pack built a gateway. That may be their first. I can't recall if I have seen them pop up with one before. Okay, Administrative Insight did pass. The Administrative Insight, when it gets all the way up, basically means you don't have to negotiate for higher holdings. You get at least 2 extra for free. So you don't need to negotiate except for like holding limits too. That will change some of my current agreements, because I do have all the way up to 4 holdings on most of mine. This is one I don't mind going up, because, you know, I normally go for the extra holdings anyway, having the built-in monthly loyalty change, but having the ethics attraction is good. I just don't like the independent diplomacy being taken away. Because the independent diplomacy does make more sense. You let your subjects choose who they want to vote for. They don't have to follow you. It also prevents them, I believe, from having agreements with other empires, like trade deals and such, because they are vassals, which weakens the vassals. Now I'm going to wait until July and do a emergency measure to bring up the veto power, I believe. That's if one of my other council members does not enact a emergency measure sooner. Our operatives have been... contact with our operatives has been restored in the Grand Shu. Good. Uberik built another gateway in the Shuta system. Yeah, I think they just started building gateways, so now they're going to be spamming them.
A new world has been colonized.
Our final one, which is going to be a commercial segment, is up and running. I do have the spare rare crystals to go ahead and start adding commercial segments. And I can actually start with a commercial segment on this one because the clerks will provide amenities. I don't necessarily need a holo theater for them. And this will also have surplus housing. So we're just going to make this full-on commercial. I'm going to start with this just to get a whole bunch of people employed. I could probably build a second one when this is done. And we are going to make this a commercial ring world. Alright, the Vengralian Trium has their bauble collection for science ship. Not interested. Bauble collection is just about 1,000 consumer goods. I don't need that. I make more than that in a month. 40 more pulls and nothing. I'll be so happy when I get the last of my minor artifacts. That will cut down a lot on the time it takes to record these episodes because I will no longer need to sit there and play these slots for a long period of time trying to get the minor artifacts. Oh, I could be building another base. Let's see, Yilon would be a research station. Lawam would be a refinery. Amazon will be energy credits. Or the Sol system. The Sahara is set up to do another mining station. I believe that's what we need. So yes, let's get started on another mining station. And another colony ship. Caravan 3 habitat is complete and ready for colonization. There's one more habitat in this system, and he's already on his way to build that one. We will go ahead and colonize this one. Las Veridas. I don't believe I have a Las Veridas. I can find out really quick. And if I did have one, which I do not, I could easily just go there, cancel the order, and try the random name again. But it looks like Las Veridas is indeed one I do not currently have. Governor Vika Nawoter seems to be approaching the limits of their abilities. Leader cap is capped by -2, which means 8 at the most. She's already level 7. Oh, she can go to skill level 9, it says, even with that -2 to cap. I must have bonuses enough to compensate for it to make it effectively 11, even though I believe 10 is the actual cap. Let's look at one of my other governors. Yeah, 10 is the actual cap, but you can get bonuses that exceed that offset this penalty. So that means I really don't have to worry about that. So she hits level 9, she'll probably die of old age before it would really matter anyway. If Zorak built a gateway.
Colony establishment has begun.
League of Brian States completed their mega art installation. Our operatives are drawing up a short list of sleeper cell targets. Once we complete this stage, it should be completed. Hithian are no longer in a research agreement with the Tilinesti. 28 pulls of the lever and nothing.
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
We've got Aggressive Conditioning 7 for more army damage. Are now working on Transgenic Crops 8 for more food from jobs. And we are up enough in influence, I can actually go to, say, the Commonwealth of Man. Or actually the Zorak, since they're here. And start preparing sleeper cells here. That way they're a little staggered. United Uberik Pact has another gateway. Admiral Mikvu Kura has drawn up plans for a major fleet exercise that will involve a substantial portion of our navy. The location he has chosen for these maneuvers is the Limsa system, which is close to the border of the Commonwealth of Man. Really? Looks like the Fire Tribes to me. The fact that it has a gateway in the system puts it close to the borders of everybody. The humans, we are humans, may see this as a major provocation, but if we cancel the exercise, our military will consider it a sign of weakness. After all, Limsa lies within our space. The Commonwealth of Man has no right to tell us what we can or cannot do in our own backyard. That is correct, especially since the only reason they have access to that is the gateway. Carry out the maneuvers as planned. Yeah, we'd suffer fire rate and monthly unity penalty for canceling it.
Situation log has been updated.
Alright, Admirals present, fleet with at least 1,600 fleet power in orbit. I believe we can arrange that fairly easily. So it's 1,600? My weakest fleet, the Ahab, can do this. What's in the Ahab to conduct the fleet maneuvers? 19 pulls and nothing. I actually forgot to do my emergency measure. I think I'll do it in January. Right now, the next one up would be repealing sanctions. I don't want that.
A new world has been colonized.
Alright, first thing I want to do is enact emergency measure. So we are now in session to give us the veto power. We've established the colony of Las Veridas. It is going to be, I believe, a crystal. Yes, it's going to be a crystal refinery. But we are going to start out as not a hydroponic station. Why do you keep thinking I want hydroponic stations? But a leisure district, so we can get a leisure district set up, followed by a habitation district. We have a favor with the League of Brian States. And I've got to do some maintenance, but it has been another 5 years. So we're going to call this an episode. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.